And with that said, I just want to introduce Corey, who might be a familiar face. He is the CEO and co-founder of Growcer, and he will be leading today's session. So with that said, we won't take up much of your time. Let's get started.
Perfect. Thanks, Steph. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us. We've got about 50 people here, so we'll get going right away. Thank you for joining this town hall. This is our first all-hands meeting with all freight farmers since Growcer's acquisition of Freight Farms this past Monday. Listen, just to start off on a personal note, it's been a real pleasure to get to know a lot of you over the last number of weeks. I know many of you have met with our team already, and for those of you who I haven't met, really looking forward to getting to know all the freight farmers all around the world who are doing great work in their communities. A little bit on Growcer, so maybe 30 seconds. We're the Canadian equivalent of Freight Farms. We've been in business for 10 years now, over 10 years, and we've essentially bootstrapped our business, meaning we don't have venture capital at the table. It's myself and my business partner, Alita. We've been deploying modular and container farms throughout our whole history, and it's a real privilege for us to get to know this community, and this was an important step that we took. So today is all about what does this mean for you, make myself available for any questions. So I'll start, and I'll try to keep this as brief as possible. I have a decent amount of information to get through to answer all your preliminary questions, hopefully, and then we can get into the meat and potatoes. So what I'll do is start with the why and why we chose to do this. We've done some extensive analysis, but I'll give you a summary of what we've learned from the Freight Farms experience, what we are doing right away for interim support, what our future plans look like. We'll have some Q&A, and then we'll actually have an opportunity, if there's time at the end of this call, to go through some new offerings that Growcer has that we are planning to integrate into the Freight Farms ecosystem. So if there's time at the end, we will make sure to keep this to an hour. I know all of you have very busy schedules, so I'll make sure we respect your time. And if we run out of time today, we're always available to pick up further discussions on the phone, by email, and we can always schedule a part 2 of this if the need arises. So get right into it. So a little bit on why. I mean, at the end of the day, we've got about 130 farms in the field today, and we knew that if this happened to our customers, people need support, people need ongoing guidance, and ultimately want help achieving their mission to scale up local food production. So it's honestly because of all of you, as we got to meet you, we realized that not only were you looking for help and support like we had imagined you were, but we felt like the acquisition was the most straightforward, most smooth way, let's say, to be able to continue the mission that all of you guys are on with your respective organizations and Freight Farms projects. So it was not the original plan, I'll be fully transparent, but as we got to know you, it's an opportunity we couldn't turn down. We've met a few strategic partners throughout the process here, and really those relationships are what really cemented this plan for us. So came together fairly quickly, but yeah, glad that we landed on the outcome that we landed on. Now to talk a little bit about, and this I think is just going to set the tone for the way Growcer will do things differently going forward than what you will have seen with Freight Farms. So start, I mean, on the positive, Freight Farms did a lot of things quite well. Examples, building a great community of people, that's all of you, building interest in this kind of food production. And from all the people I've met that worked at Freight Farms, an incredibly passionate, hardworking team. So that they have in spades. They also inspired many to dedicate their career to solving local food challenges. A lot of organizations, many of you who are represented on the call today, took a big plunge in choosing Freight Farms, and they were really good at building that sense of community and having people join the mission that we're all on together. So that's what they did well. Now, evidently, a lot of things had to go wrong to end up where they did. And so just to be fully transparent on what we have seen, this is not an exhaustive list, but I think it's top 4 things I've taken away from having looked at this pretty closely. First was support was unsustainable. They offered a lot of free services for a really long period of time. That then leads to a limited amount of time and resources and a small team that has to provide support for an ever-growing customer base. And ultimately that, burns people out. So the support staff, got burned out over time, had a lot on their plate and really couldn't offer that world-class service to you as the farmer. We're turning around things too slowly. And most important thing to say is it wasn't the fault of the people at the support desk who weren't trying hard. They were just given an impossible task to support far too many people with far too little time and resources. So all of that has to do with the business model of just essentially offering free support for lifetime, and the scale of the Freight Farms network outpacing their ability to recover their own ongoing costs. Freight Farms, as you may know, was selling farm services materials, often at a loss. And so, of course, that runway runs out at some point. That's something that we're going to be changing and ensuring that things are sustainable and things are priced sustainably so that ultimately we make you successful, but also that we're around in 10, 20, 30 years to support you at that point in time. We did see lack of urgency for necessary farm improvements. We've been reading a lot of data, a lot of comments. All of you as freight farmers have been submitting to Freight Farms over the years. Again, it had less to do with the specific staff and more to do with the structure and the business model. So there just wasn't the appropriate amount of investment, urgency, and structure to make those most critical changes as quickly as possible. So, not all things are the same level of urgency. There's always, in business, you always have to triage things into things that are actually urgent and things that are nice to have. But for those urgent things, we didn't see that. Our assessment is that things were not moving fast enough. And then from a design, product, equipment selection, let's call it, cost and the price point was always prioritized over reliability. So in general, I don't know if any of this, if you feel that this reflects your experience, this is just my takeaway, having not been a Freight Farm customer in full honesty, right? But having run a business that's quite similar, this is what we're going to be doing differently. So a lot of this will just carry through as a general theme for today of how Growcer is going to, our goal is ultimately to ensure your long-term success while also ensuring that we are a sustainable organization. And so because we have no limitless investor dollars that are coming in, we have to ensure that what we're doing is also sustainable for us. And so as long as things are sustainable for us, there's a lot of stuff we're willing and able to do to make sure that we can extend that olive branch and do right by you. So that'll be our ethos going forward. And ultimately, that's what I hope you'll see throughout this presentation, but also how we're going to run the business going forward. So basically, what I want to impart to you guys today, if there's one thing you should take away from this presentation, is that Growcer is going to be the steady hand on the wheel. Our goal is to pick up the mission of Freight Farms and continue it into the next chapter, but do it in a more diligent and in a more diligent way. So let's get to the meat and potatoes of, okay, what about right now? You need help. How do you proceed with getting support from the new acquirers of Freight Farms? I've categorized this into multiple areas, but everything funnels through a single form to make it easy on you. So go to thegrowcer.com/FF. Bottom of the page, you'll see this form. If you actually read the full page, you'll see exactly all the same categories of items I'm about to talk about and how we're triaging things, how we're organizing things. So we're going to want a little bit of extra information. This is why please fill out the form. Don't send us an email or give us a phone call if you haven't submitted a form yet. Start with the form. Let's go from there, because then we can triage you, make sure you get service as fast as possible, and that we're prioritizing the right tickets first. So as you can imagine, please bear with us. We're seeing a backlog of probably 3 or 4 months worth of tickets all at once. So we are ensuring that if your need is absolutely critical, and we're going to use the honor system here, your need is absolutely critical, you'll be able to put that in your severity level. We will be starting with those to ensure people who are unable to operate their farm, start with those freight farmers, and then we will go as fast as possible through the list so that by the end of August, our goal is to have the backlog cleared. And if we can't do it by the end of August, it'll be as soon as possible. So bear with us. There is a good volume of tickets that have already come in, but everything I'm about to talk about, please go there. Okay. Now, first thing is Farmhand. So we are going to be continuing Farmhand as is, and our goal is to ensure there is no interruption to your Farmhand service and availability. But you must pay your subscription as you normally would if Freight Farms was still around. So we're going to take over the payment system. It'll be seamless. You don't have to take any action other than if you receive an invoice like you normally would once a year, you pay that invoice on time. There are a number of you that are late on payment or that have filed payment disputes because while Freight Farms wasn't around, naturally, many of you were worried. If your payment is not in by August 31st, we will be terminating and suspending any unpaid accounts. Make sure to pay by August 31st, no later, and you have to pay for the entire late period that you haven't been paying for the service. We are bringing on a former software developer that ran and built Farmhand, so they're going to be starting in the Growcer team. They actually started today, and so that'll be there to ensure, again, that smooth continuity to service that I know you expect. Now, the bad news here is that the way the bankruptcy process has played out, we are not going to get paid for anything that was paid prior to April 30th. So essentially, when the bankruptcy happened, any debts, and your prepayment is considered a debt, anything that's there was wiped away. There's no money left for anything like that. So the trustee is not paying for anything you've already paid. So that's the bad news, which means that if you paid before April 30th, your payment has been lost. The money has been wiped away in the bankruptcy process, and it canceled your Farmhand contract. So naturally, that's not good news, and we don't want to leave that in that position because we feel like we need to step up here in this moment. So what we're going to be doing is that if you paid before April 30th, we will provide free Farmhand to you until either December 31st or until your next renewal date, whichever comes first. We'll issue new terms and conditions. Like I said, the full Farmhand will continue as is. And so that way you can continue to use Farmhand. You don't have to make an immediate next payment if you had just paid in the spring or late last year. But just so you know, we're not getting paid for that service. We're doing that free of charge, no payment from anyone to ensure that you're made whole to the best of our ability. So that is the offer. And on the next slide, I'll detail exactly what that means, just to make sure it's ultra clear. If you have any questions on this, you just submit a ticket on the form I talked about a second ago. There is a category called Farmhand Billing Inquiry. We can help you on a case-by-case basis by filling out the form. So to make it extra clear, if you paid between January 1st this year and April 30th, and you paid for a full year of access, you have no additional cost. We're going to give you that entire period for free. But when your invoice comes up for renewal, pay it like usual. So if, let's say, I'll pick February 1st, if that was the date you paid, on February 1st, 2026, you'll get an invoice, pay it like normal, but you will see no more invoices for Farmhand, and you'll get free access until your renewal date. If you paid before April 30th for access beyond December 31st, you'll only get access to Farmhand at no cost until December 31st. You'll have to pay a new invoice for a subscription before December 31st. And I just realized, sorry, I misspoke on the February 1st. If you paid on February 1st, let me point of clarification. If you paid on February 1st, before April 30th, you'll have to pay on December 31st for that 2-month period, or for that 1-month period in that case, for the month of January. So it'll be an extra month fee in order to get you back on your cycle. The silver lining for those of you who did pay between April 30th and now, the trustee is making that payment to us. So everything I just said does not affect you. You'll get Farmhand as normal, and your payment is being recognized because for getting paid for that amount that you paid them. So that is the current status of things. Again, if you have specific questions, you have an invoice you want to forward us, I think you have a specific circumstance that you want to talk through, we'd love to hear from you. But this is, the best we can do in the circumstances at this point in time. Ensure again that we are making a sustainable decision here that makes sense for our business as well as yours. Hopefully that makes sense. The cost of Farmhand, because I just see that question in the chat here, the cost is staying the same. And so the list price of Farmhand, for clarity, was $2,400 per year for a single farm. It was $1,200 a year for the second, third, fourth farm that's on the same site, et cetera. We are keeping the price the same there. It's the same price as well for every additional user, so none of that changes. If you had some kind of special pricing, enterprise pricing discounts, please contact us. We'll address that case by case. So I can't promise that if you had free Farmhand for 10 years, that we'll be able to honor that. But definitely get in touch with us if you had a discount. Forward us the invoice. That would be helpful for our review, and then we'll deal with that case by case to get you an answer as soon as we can. But I can commit that the list price that you were paying is going to continue to be the list price we have for the Farmhand software going forward. Yeah, so that's is monthly an option as well, and I'll address some of the easy questions that I'm getting, and then Steph will help organize the following questions later. Yes, we can look at monthly as well. We can get you a specific quote. It will be cheaper to pay upfront for the year, but if you are required or you're structured in a way that monthly is better for you, we can look at that for you. So fill out a support form and we can present you both options. Okay, we'll move on from here and then we'll come back to Farmhand, more Farmhand questions in a minute. Go on to farm support. So many of you will know Dave Harris and Sarah from Precision Ag Partners. So for immediate term, if you have plant health, hardware support, you're having an issue, email Dave and Sarah. This is their email. Just so everyone's aware, this is a paid service. It's led by Dave and Sarah. They're Greenery Farms' R&D and customer experience staff. They have tons of experience and are really helpful. They are offering a free 15-minute introductory consult for any new farmers, any new customers of theirs that come to their door. And so you can either contact us, we'll put you in touch, or you can feel free to email Dave directly. Sarah and Dave will be happy to help you there. But after the 15 minutes, it is a paid service. That's the immediate term. The end of August, we'll be bringing support in-house into Growcer, and that'll be led as well by former freight farmers, together with our existing farm support team, who are many years of experience horticulturists as well, have been running modular hydroponic farms for decades of combined experience. So we have a great team. We're bringing on some great new people. I'll announce who that is in more details in the days and weeks to come. So rest assured that you're in good hands with Dave and Sarah, and if you need support at the end of August, we'll be bringing that in-house, and you'll have Growcer and our full team at your disposal for that. To make a finer point, as I mentioned earlier, this is one of the areas that made the past freight farm business model unsustainable, was unlimited free support. So we'll be introducing some level of cost recovery mechanism for support. Our goal is not to make it hugely profitable. I'll be very transparent with you. Our goal is to ensure that as the network scales, we can scale the amount of people that can offer you support. And in order to do that, we need to charge at least enough to recover all of our costs to make that support available to you. What I can commit to you is that as you pay for support, I would also commit that the level, the speed of support will also be greater than if the support was free. So I can anticipate some of the hesitations that you may have around paying for something that you've had for free. What I'm telling you is that the value will be greater than the cost that you'll get for support. So again, looking forward to getting in touch with you and proving what I'm saying here, and showing you evidence that what I'm saying is true. Again, look forward to the fact that hopefully you'll give us a chance to be able to do that. So again, this is not available for purchase right away, please go to Precision Ag Partners, and we'll be announcing by email. So if you received an email about this webinar, then you're already on our mailing list, and we'll be announcing the details of that in the next few weeks here. As far as consumables, so that's, think all your nutrients, your spare parts, your media, so all of your plugs, etc., wicking strips, you name it. Whatever was on Farmhand shop before will be relaunching very soon. For now, it'll just be same as before. So you won't see really any significant changes to the storefront. Look and feel, the pricing, all of that will stay the same for now. And then over the next number of months, we'll be getting your feedback in order to make it better and help serve you better. So for now, it'll just be same as what you were used to. In the interim, if you have an immediate, urgent, consumable request that you really can't wait a week or two, just submit the support form. We'll be happy to assist you there. Again, it'll be processed chronologically and then processed with the triaging system of how urgent it is. Moving on here, for spare parts and replacement parts, happy to say that our plan is also to continue offering what you had with Free Farms previously. Our team is currently in Boston. We have about 10 people down in Boston inventorying all the various warehouses and yards that held all of these replacement parts and materials. So we are actively getting it organized so that we are able to quickly ship stuff to you when you need it. And we're making sure we have an accurate count of what's there, what condition it's in, what's new, what's used, etc. So bear with us. This is going to take a few days. We're going quite quickly here to brute force this effort to get this up and running as quickly as possible. I know several of you have been waiting for light panels and really critical, dosing modules, etc. So we are prioritizing those kind of requests right away. If you have something urgent, hit the support form. This will start to sound like I'm on repeat here, but that's the best place to send your orders. Share the information about your farm model, where you want the shipping to go to, and any information about billing that you can share. We'll reach out to you. Our goal is that you hear back from us within a business day. So submit the form, you'll hear back from us right away with next steps, and then we can go from there one-on-one on your specific situation. For those of you who were wondering, because I know this was a question before, Growcer is a Canadian company, what happens with the border, et cetera, rest assured that you won't, if you're a US-based customer, you're not going to see any difference. We're going to be shipping everything from the US and from Canada. So depending on where you're located, if you're on the Canadian side of the border, we'll be shipping from Canada, the US side of the border, the US. If you're internationally, then we'll pick whichever one has the most cost-effective and economical option for you. So you should see no difference from what you're used to on that front. As far as training and installation, a few of you are in this boat, not all. If you just received your farm, you haven't gotten trained yet, or your farm is still not installed, we are planning to do on-site in-person visits to install farms, inspect farms, and train you. We're having a team hired as we speak to start offering that service. We will be able to start booking trips in September. So service will launch at the end of August. Reach out to us. We are providing quotes so we can give you clarity on pricing, availability, all of that stuff. We'll do that by email because it's somewhat case dependent, or case by case is what I mean. And we'll be serving you first come, first serve on that front. But the plan is to be able to be on site with all of you in the fall of this year so that we can get your farm up and running as fast as possible. Okay, now let's talk hardware for a second. The current state of the Greenery S and Greenery 7, which was the new version of the international farm, those will be offered alongside the Growcer equivalent product, which we call our Osiris farm. They will all be available on the market, available for purchase. So for those of you who aren't familiar with Osiris, we can educate you on the differences between the systems, and you will ultimately have the choice of which one to choose and which one is the best for your circumstances. There are always pros and cons of different types of systems, different forms of irrigation, but by and large, the Greenery 7 and the Greenery S and the Greenery 7 in their current form will be available and continue to be available for purchase. We do have inventory of completed brand new farms. Going to be doing quality checks on all of those before they get shipped. They are built with the current design, and so we plan to ship them on an as-is basis, subject to our quality checks that everything's working the way we expect. So those are available as is. In the months to come, we're going to be doing a lot of work with all of you to learn what the improvements are that are the most pressing. Things like, what is the thing that fails the most? What are the things that are the most frustrating about your Greenery S or your Greenery 7 that if you had a magic wand, you would change? Those types of questions. We'll be soliciting your feedback over the next number of weeks. If you see surveys from me, you see us reaching out by email to you to ask for your input. We're not doing that because we want to stay busy. We're doing that because we actually want to hear from you. So I highly encourage you, if you get a form, you get some kind of survey asking for your input of what you would do better, that data is directly going to lead to what we prioritize from a design point of view. And we are going to be investing fairly significant engineering resources so that as quickly as possible, we have improvements to bring to the design. So again, if you are okay with the current design, you like it, it works for you, we have them available for sale right away, and we'll be making improvements. It won't be large design overhauls right away. It'll be a lot of fine tuning and fixing some of what I would call the low-hanging fruit, things that are relatively important and urgent to all of you, and things that are relatively quick to do. And then we'll be, as we get that data from you, we'll be sharing more about what the product roadmap looks like. One thing that Growcer does quite openly is here's our roadmap of what we're working on and what we're prioritizing. So we'll be doing that out in the open so that you understand what we're spending our energy on from an engineering design product point of view, and what things we've deprioritized, why we've deprioritized them, et cetera. So again, your feedback is the main way we will make those decisions. So I'll leave that there. The farms are going to change in price. So this is all in US dollars. We're moving the MSRP from $159,000, where it was previously, to $180,000. We're doing that effective immediately. Now, if you had a live quote, your budget's already approved, and you were ready to go, reach out to us. We can always talk case by case on what we can do to help bridge this gap and honor past prices. If some of you were on my previous webinar, I want to say 2 months ago or so, we talked about how we would honor existing deposits up to $20,000 US, and that we would do our best to match the price within a certain time period. That remains the case. So if you had everything ready to go, you had a grant or you had financing, you're all set up and you're ready to receive your farm, and this news would prevent you from proceeding, just reach out to us. Let's have a conversation. But so everyone's aware, this is the price that would have allowed freight farms to be sustainable and to actually make margins on every farm that they sold. So at the current cost structure, again, once we start diving in and if we find cost efficiencies, you will see that reflected in the price. Where we're at currently, with the current farm cost to build, and in order to be a sustainable business, this is the price that we need to charge. So again, reach out if you want to chat about a specific near-term order. Going forward in the medium to long term, this is going to be the price that we sell farms at. There are volume discounts available, but other than that, normally the price is the price. Now, with that, freight farms always offered the upfront sale, but didn't have a lot of flexible financing options. Something that Growcer does for our customers today that we will immediately be launching with all of you today is what we call Farm as a Service. So this is a rental model. I'll talk about it in a few slides after the Q&A, if those of you who are interested. But essentially, it makes the farm $0 upfront. There's no cost for the farm. It's a rent-to-own model. So essentially, you pay rent every month. I'll give you the figure now so you have a rough order of magnitude. It's about $3,000 US a month. Access to the farm. The value of the farm you can buy out at specific times in your rental contract. At the end of the contract, if you don't want the farm anymore, there's no cost, we take it back. But if you want to buy it, you're able to buy it, and it will be less expensive than the farm when you initially, than a new farm, let's call it, when you originally bought it. So it's kind of mortgage style if you view it that way, in the sense that it comes down in price with every passing year, and you can purchase it. So our goal with this model is to ensure the barrier to getting a farm is as low as possible. and ensure that you are able to own your farm one day when your cash flow allows for that. So again, we want ownership incentives. We want people to own their farm one day if they want to, and so that's the option I can present to you. Something else to do with the Greenery Farm, the hardware, that is again just putting everything on the table and being very transparent with you. None of the warranties, if they were warranties from freight farms, exist anymore. So that is still with the trustee. If you have warranty claims that you had against freight farms and those were some way secured claims or agreed upon payments that they were supposed to give you for warranty work, there's nothing that Growcer can do, unfortunately, to support that. From a cost standpoint, I'll have to go to the bankruptcy trustee to deal with them on that and to deal with the bankruptcy estate. What we are looking into are options to manage your expectations. Those won't be free options, but to offer you some warranty coverage, for example, like an extended warranty, Apple Care style solution. We don't have a solution yet, but we are working hard to try to find options there, whereby if you have no warranty coverage, but you really want warranty coverage, we may be able to come up with a few scenarios for you there. But clarity, if you have warranty obligations with freight farms, they are extinguished, they no longer exist. If you have warranty obligations with, say, Northern Air or Bard HVAC or the lighting manufacturer, anything like that, those do still exist. And we're happy to facilitate conversations between you and the original supplier to ensure that if, for example, the HVAC does carry long-term multi-year warranties, if something fails that was under warranty and is still under warranty, none of that has gone away, we will do the best we can to support you in advocating for your position and get the warranty that you're due. That is all things hardware, warranty. I hope that covers some of those questions. But the good news is we plan to continue offering this product so that all of you who have a Greenery S or a Greenery 7, you'll know that there's still a very market that's alive and well for these farms out there. We'll continue supporting them in the long term. Now, the team. So our next step here is that we're combining the best of both businesses. We've got a Growcer customer success is what we call it here, customer success, and an operations team, everything from supply chain, manufacturing. We have staff on warranty claims, et cetera, all things like that. We also have a full engineering team that focuses on hardware, improving the product, developing new products, again, doing all that work of interviewing all of you to make sure we understand your needs. And then we have an R&D team. So our R&D team is very focused on how to improve the yields of farms, how to make labor processes more efficient, how to improve plant health, and really how to make the farm more resilient to human error, pests, pathogens, those kind of things. So that's R&D. Ultimately, the goal is for the farm to improve its financial performance year over year. We're also joining forces with a few familiar faces. So as I've already mentioned, we have Precision Ag Partners, Dave and Sarah, who are going to be joining the team on a fractional basis and sort of as a partnership for interim support and product guidance. Allison, who some of you might have dealt with, she was on the Freight Farms business development team, has joined the Growcer team now. We've also brought in, as of today actually, the lead developer for Farmhand to ensure that that product continues status quo. We've partnered with the container supplier, the specialty Freight Farms container. We're excited about that. And then one of the manufacturers that actually assembled Freight Farm itself and built it. So we've got a great group of people here who are going to ensure that you have a bunch of skills and really talented people around the table to support you. We have some advisors and support relationships with several others. And so if we don't know the answer, we'll find someone who does. So that's the team that you'll be interfacing with. We'll be doing more detailed introductions, and then if you reach out, you'll start to meet some of the great Growcer people on the other side of the table here, and we're really looking forward to meeting all of you. The team's quite excited about meeting Freight Farmers. So with that, it'll be a meshing of the two. In the next few weeks and months, there will be no difference between the Growcer team and the Freight Farms team, so we'll be making sure that both teams are cross-trained on each other's products. Naturally, it does take time, so you'll be hearing more from like Dave and Sarah and the Farmhand developer before you hear from the Growcer people, but over time, our teams will be fully up to speed on each other's products. So just to summarize, let's look ahead maybe 3 months, 4 months, 5 months. What's the world going to look like? What's Growcer going to be offering to you? Farmhand is continuing. You'll be able to reorder consumables whenever you need them. We'll have a full service support and training. The plan there is to have multiple tiers and lots of options for you to choose from, depending on your budget, depending on your needs, etc. And you'll be able to toggle things on and off because we know people need more support on the front end at the very beginning. And once they're up to speed, you might have seen this for yourself. Once you're up to speed, you don't need the same level of support and training. We'll have a whole bunch of options, a menu of options to choose from. From a parts standpoint, you can replace one part at a time. You don't need to retrofit your entire farm to convert to some other piece of equipment. Building that supply chain again to get you one-for-one replacements to the best of our ability. And then now, new offer to all of you guys is the Farm as a Service subscription model and new equipment solutions, which I'll talk about in a minute here. But we'll be bringing some of what Growcer does that our customers love into the Freight Farm ecosystem so that you have access to those same benefits and opportunities. So that is a nutshell of what the future has in store. I promised I would keep this short and sweet. We've got some time here to answer questions. If the Q&A runs shorter, we'll have time to talk about the new offerings that we're bringing to the Freight Farm community. If we run out of time, we'll do this another day and we'll bring you up to speed. But it includes new equipment, financing, grant writing services, things like that. So pause there, throw your questions in the chat or raise your hand. That will triage the questions accordingly.
Directing most of you to the support form on the website. The developer that is starting today will be able to answer those better than we can about, the chat history, the mobile app, everything like that. So if you submit a support form, that is the best way that we can get back to you. And don't forget to give us as much. Yep, I see in the chat for billing questions, it's also the support form. You just kind of have to mark within the nature of the ticket that you're interested in getting support for Farmhand billing. Saw WF definitely there, and we will answer you from there. I did a little bit before, but are there going to be discounts for Farmhand subscriptions for nonprofits,
If you're cutting out
schools, etc.?
If you're cutting out, by the way, so I'll jump into this. There aren't plans right now to do that.
I can say it again.
No, I got your question. Thank you, though. So we're not looking at that right now. The price that we're listing is the price. What we need to ensure is that the Farmhand platform is sustainable. So bear with us this year. Don't expect that. Can't commit to the future, but what we're trying to ensure is that we understand what the cost is to maintain the platform. And all we need to ensure is that it's sustainable financially to maintain. Right now, it appears that that's the case, and we're fully committed to ensuring that Farmhand continues, and we make the proper investments to ensure that the platform remains reliable. So that'll be the biggest priority. That being said, John, we do have some options to help you raise more funding, secure more donors, et cetera. So if you're a school, nonprofit, registered charity, anything like that, we do have some offers that might be able to help you offset your costs. So we can chat about that. That's part of what's coming on the slides coming up next. If we run out of time today, we can do it another day, and feel free to reach out for more information on that. Maybe, Steph, I'll take the knowledge-based question.
Go for it. If I'm cutting out, just answer the question. That's probably best.
Keep going. Sounds good. Okay. Ethan, yes, the plan is to bring the knowledge base back. We are still trying to get access to all of the platforms. So we haven't gotten the keys to every single thing yet. So we are working on that, is bringing it back to life. If you haven't seen it yet, there is a Google Drive that David and Sarah have been sharing that is free to use, that has a lot of knowledge-based articles. So that I know is already out there. If you need a link, Steph can send it to you. But as far as the knowledge base being on HubSpot platform, et cetera, we're trying to bring that back to the best of our ability. My hope is that we will be able to do that, but I don't have certainty for you today.
If I'm able to jump in, the link that David and Sarah had sent for the knowledge base is available on the Grocers Fright Farm community support page. It is under helpful links right under the support form, and that is all located at thegrocer.com/ff. So the link is there if you aren't able to track down that old link from your email.
Yeah, John, you have a complaint around being focused. Maybe I'll use the term setting unrealistic expectations as a catch-all with people during the sales process. That's something Growcer is going to be changing in our approach entirely. And so, generally speaking, we want to ensure that when people choose Growcer in the future, they go into it with their eyes wide open. People know exactly what they're signing up for. I can't undo the past, but there's nothing I can do to change the way things were done at Freight Farms. But what I can say is that that we will be, and we have always given projections at Growcer that present a realistic picture of farm performance and expectations, so that there's not sort of missed expectations and disappointment right away. As far as yield comparisons between the Growcer unit and Freight Farms unit, yes, we have some data. I'd love to see, for those of you who are willing to share yield data, the more data, the better, because then we can understand. We have some corporate Freight Farm yield data, in other words, like benchmark data of their headquarters farms we're running, et cetera. I'd love to see what the reality is when growers are using the same style farms, because those can sometimes be different. But in a nutshell, John, our farms, the Growcer farms, I should say, do produce more than a standard greenery unit. You have fewer heads of lettuce. You have greater pounds of lettuce coming out. If I'll just use lettuce as an example. You have more weight coming out of an Osiris system of the same size and price than you do coming out of a greenery unit. So, for example, I see a lot of freight farmers between 50 and 70 grams per head of lettuce. We're sort of north of 100, 120 easily. And the total pounds coming out of farm on a weekly basis generally higher. I'm also curious to see what the sort of average energy consumption. I've heard anecdotal evidence of different people's energy usage a month, every month. I'd love to see more data around that. So again, if you're willing to share that with us as we're in touch on other items, please do share it. We'd love to sort of aggregate that to get a more fulsome picture of the reality of things. Because my current understanding, I don't have a full picture, is that the Growcer Osiris unit also uses less energy. Again, that's just anecdotal based on some people, some freight farmers telling me their energy bill is, and it seems much higher than what I'm used to seeing. So again, I can only speak to what I've seen so far. To the extent you're willing to share your data, yields, what your head size is, what your total yields per week have been over the last year or two, and your energy use in kilowatt hours, we'd love to have access to that. We won't share that with anyone. We'll just aggregate the data, anonymize it, and be able to use that for to be able to give you a more accurate comparison. If I don't see any more questions, do we have questions in the chat?
We don't have any that are unanswered. I think you're good to, because this last question talked about, how Growcer is different. Maybe if you just want to move on so people who aren't so familiar with us can kind of get some background information. And I just want to reiterate that this recording will be available on the website after it wraps up, but I think we are good for now, and I will stay on to monitor the chat if anything comes up.
If you have questions that come to mind as I keep talking here, please put them in the chat. I'll make sure to address it before 2 o'clock Eastern here. So we'll wrap up in the next 14 minutes. Next slide here, Steph. So let's chat about the things that Growcer offers today that are not currently available in the Freight Farms offering, but that we're going to be bringing to the market. Hopefully this is the silver lining of this whole thing as well. So, I mean, you guys are familiar with this. It's the infrastructure, the support, consulting, training, and of course, I just spoke about financing earlier. I'll start with the farm as a service. So I mentioned the $3,000 a month. That makes the farm no cost upfront. And we'll be doing that for an Osiris or Greenery S or a Greenery 7. At no additional cost, we take care of all the maintenance. So if something breaks, you don't pay to fix it, we fix it. We have schedule upgrades. So after 10 years, if lights are more efficient, you get the latest and greatest. Farmhand is at no additional cost. We have the highest tier of tech support. Has a really high service level agreement in place and service standards. We do an annual, once a year, on-site visit with you for several days to look at how we can make your farm better, look at what your goals are, how can we help you achieve those better, and then you get a free block of hours, ongoing project management and grant writing services. I'll talk about our grant writing services in a sec. If you're interested, go check out our website. There's a whole section of our website dedicated to the fund. You can also just email us and we'd be happy to answer any questions. There's a credit application process involved, so it's not an automatic approval. There is a due diligence process where we want to make sure that your ability to pay the $3,000 a month is there. So that's what we expect there. We're largely, as well, it's important to say, Growcer Fund is largely focused on schools, nonprofits, food banks, institutions like universities and colleges. That is largely the type of customers that we've supported with the Growcer Fund to date. Some commercial customers as well, but I would say more established, sort of call it legacy businesses that have been around for a decade or more. Okay, next slide. I'll do some quick hits here in the interest of time. We have something called the hub unit. So the hub unit is essentially the unit that you see here in the bird's eye view on the left. It connects up to 4 Growcer or Greenery farms together. They're available in 21-foot, which connects 2 farms, or 42-foot, which connects 4 farms together. And inside the hub unit rather, you have commercial food processing areas. You've got a compartment sink, a water heater, hand washing station, refrigerators to store all your produce, and storage shelves for all of your farm supplies. So this is a really great tool for those of you who have multiple farms and you want to go between your farms without having to go outside. It arrives turnkey, just like a standard grocer or a freight farm. And you can scale up, of course, so you can remove these as you wish and reconfigure them to expand over time. We have lots of customers who started with just 1 grocer farm. They now have 4 with a hub, and it really is kind of, you choose the right timing for your own project, but you can add this at any time. We also have a cold storage option. So this is a walk-in fridge or freezer. We have both options. This is suitable for different types of meats. We have a few, more remote communities that need this for processing or storing perishable frozen foods. Stuff. Same thing on the dry storage side. So this is more of your conventional root cellar, but it's in a modular unit. It's for root vegetables especially, so you can order in bulk, store produce year-round that is suitable to hold in a root cellar. And again, the whole idea of this is that as you configure these different things, maybe next slide, Steph, you configure these different things, you can mix and match the different units to really offer your market a full, all-encompassing farm market, farm stand, if you will. So you've got, grow units that are doing hydroponic lettuces, hydroponic greens, your cold storage that maybe has some protein, and dry storage that has some root vegetables. So now you can offer a full basket of goods to your customer base. Yeah, so that's the idea. That's how our customers use it today. Feel free to reach out with more questions about these different products. Different version of the way the hub unit can be configured. It's just 4 grow units with a hub that also works. So it's really a mix and match. And then we've done many more equipment options that relate to modular equipment, and we have partnerships with lots of different equipment companies that specialize in other types of things, like more conventional greenhouses. We have partners who do chicken coops and other types of hydroponic systems for display and for showcase parts of your project. So again, reach out if you want connections to those companies, we're happy to refer you to trusted partners. Slide, please. Go ahead, I'll talk about consulting now. So one of the most popular services we offer is grant writing services. I'll say ahead of time, this is mostly for schools, charities, registered not-for-profits, so your 501c3s, that type of thing. We have one grant writer on staff, and soon we'll have two. Together with our customers, we've been able to help them secure over $9 million in non-repayable grant funding. And when we compare our results with a customer doing this on their own, even sometimes hiring their own grant writer, we have a 3 times higher approval rating than your kind of typical service out there. And that's just because we know the product quite well. We know how to talk about it. We have relationships to be able to get that done in an efficient way. And then we have expertise across all sorts of styles of funding. We've got lots of relationships at the federal level, provincial, state, and less so, I would say, on the local funding in the U.S., but certainly in Canada, we've got a good amount of experience at the local level. And then last but not least, this is a blueprint service that we offer. This may not be relevant for some of you, but this is for people who are figuring out their scale-up plan, perhaps, help them understand how to integrate their farm into other types of food projects, how will the equipment be operated. So if you're at the time in your project when you're trying to figure out a pivot, where you've been running a certain way, it's not really working, you're trying to find a different way, happy to engage with you on this type of service where we really look at the map of your project, how things are working and how things could flow better. And this is really like a business model plus strategy plus market research exercise. That's how I would summarize it. And we provide you a report. You're involved the whole way through this process. It's normally a fairly quick and dirty exercise. It's about 90 days start to finish. And the goal is really to get you a plan that you can use. Kurt, you have a question on the cold storage unit. We currently offer the cold storage or the dry storage, not both in the same system. It has to do with the climate control and the power system. Great points. I'll take it back to the engineering team. Right now, it's one or the other. And they'll order a smaller, the 21-foot cold storage and the 21-foot dry storage, which would achieve a similar thing. But without getting into details, it's the way that the system is powered. Climate controls are not the same for the two systems, so we can't put them in the same building envelope. Perfect. I think that's it. There you go. And we're 6 minutes early, so we still have time. And Oliver, you have the same question here, same as Kurt. So yeah, like I said before, we don't do the fridge and do we do the fridge and the freezer and the 40? Sorry, I read quickly and misunderstood your question. Yes, we do offer that. We have an option that is the full freezer, the full fridge, or half and half. So we have both for you depending on your needs. And you can just let us know your preference by reaching out to us. Food Hub, yes. Steph, can you go back to the hub? There's a couple, Patrick, so feel free to stop me. Was it this one? I think it's this one. If it's the other one, let me know. Perfect. Well, I'll stay on for the next 5 minutes. For those of you who have all your questions answered and wrapped up, that's all I have to share with you today. Like I said, we are really looking forward to getting to know you and being that long-term partner that I know you expect. So yeah, looking forward to earning your trust and being great long-term partners with you. Yeah, this has been a terrific learning experience for us and also a really huge pleasure to get to know so many awesome people all around the world that are doing great work. So thanks for doing what you do. We're looking forward to working with you. Christy says, is the hub where the processing area is held? Yes, exactly. I would call it light processing. So to manage your expectation, customers that I know have put in like dehydrators, for example, to do dried herbs. We've had a customer put in a freeze dryer. So there's some really cool recipes you can do with a freeze dryer, that kind of thing. It's not meant for heavy. It's not a meat processing or fish processing grade food processing area. So it's a light processing is the best terminology I can think of. It's pretty basic, wipe down surfaces, everything is washed down. It will pass your food safety certification. And ultimately it's just like big stainless steel tables with proper shelves, all the tools you might need to do some light processing. Can a 50/50 fridge freezer be available in a 20? It can be, yes, Kurt. You don't need the 40-foot one. It's basically one side is freezers, one side is fridges on your left and right.
I think we have 3 more minutes if anyone has any last minute questions. But until then, I just want to reiterate that the full recording of this call will be posted online, the same page that you can find the support form, www.thegrowcer.com/ff. And that support form is your best resource at the moment to make sure that someone on our team who knows more can help you. And when you fill out that form, that also allows us to get as much information as possible about your farm model, what you're looking for, and you can submit requests from Farmhand software, billing, spare parts, replacement parts, plant health support, all of that. So definitely go check out the website. I will hope to post this recording later this afternoon for those who were not able to join live. But thank you so much for everyone who took time out of their day to join. And I reiterate what Corey was saying. We are so excited to work with this new network of growers. We have seen you done some incredible things worldwide, and it is a very exciting chapter for us. So thank you all for joining.